You probably know this moment. You're in a meeting or standing in a kitchen with someone close to you. A question is asked. A decision is about to be made. And you say yes, even though something in you says no. And in that moment, it feels right. Smooth, harmonious, no tension, no friction. The conversation moves on. Everything stays easy. But something else happens quietly. You lose clarity. People-pleasing is not kindness. It's a strategy to avoid friction. And the problem is, it works. At least for a while. Let's look at what's actually happening. You're in a discussion, and someone suggests an idea you don't fully agree with. You feel it immediately, a small resistance, but instead of expressing it, you adjust. Yeah, that makes sense. And instantly, something shifts. The room relaxes. The tension dissolves. The conversation flows again. Your nervous system registers. This is safe. This is the core of people-pleasing. It reduces friction, lowers tension, and keeps the social environment stable. And your brain is wired to prefer that. Your system constantly scans for safety. And in many situations, disagreement feels like risk. Risk of rejection, risk of conflict, risk of losing approval. That's where approval-seeking behavior comes in. You don't just respond to the situation. You respond to what the situation might cost you socially. And when you avoid that cost, your system rewards you with relief. That relief feels like the right decision. That's why people-pleasing becomes a pattern. It's not random, it's learned. Take a second. How often do you say something that keeps the situation smooth, even if it's not fully true for you? Now extend that pattern over time. You agree, you adjust, you keep things easy. At first, people appreciate it. You're easy to work with, flexible, pleasant. But slowly, something changes. Because people don't just listen to your words. They read consistency. And when your words don't fully match your position, others feel it in very small signals. A hesitation, a softened tone, a lack of clarity. You become harder to read. And when someone is hard to read, they become harder to trust. Trust is built through clarity. Through knowing where someone stands, not through constant agreement. This is where many people misunderstand people-pleaser psychology. It looks like cooperation, but over time, it creates uncertainty. There is a deeper layer. Every time you override your own boundary, you send yourself a signal. This is not important. Your system learns from repetition, and slowly, your internal reference shifts. You hesitate more. You question yourself more. You adjust faster than you decide. This is where self-abandonment begins. Quietly. You stop orienting yourself by what you actually think. Instead, you orient yourself by what keeps the situation comfortable. And that affects self-respect, because self-respect grows when your actions align with your position. If that alignment weakens, your sense of stability weakens with it. You're writing an email. You know exactly what you want to say. Clear, direct, precise. Then you soften it. You add extra words. You make it more agreeable, less direct. By the end, it sounds fine. But it no longer reflects what you actually think, and you notice it. People-pleasing is often framed as kindness, but psychologically, It's closer to emotional regulation. You are trying to regulate the situation by minimizing friction. You want stability, so you reduce differences. You align faster than you clarify. This connects directly to conflict avoidance psychology. Because conflict feels uncomfortable, your system tries to prevent it early. And one way to do that is agreement. But there's a consequence. Clarity disappears. And without clarity, there is no real orientation, for you or for others. Clarity always introduces a bit of tension. Different perspectives, different priorities, different directions. That tension is not a problem. It's information. And when you remove that information, you remove structure. Think about the people you trust. Do they always agree, or are they clear, even when it's slightly uncomfortable? If you observe people pleasing over time, you start to see a pattern. Decisions become slower. Communication becomes less precise. Direction becomes unclear. Not because people lack intelligence, because clarity is missing. And clarity is what enables decision-making. This is where decision-making psychology becomes relevant. Without a clear position, there is nothing to decide from. Everything becomes negotiation. Everything becomes adaptation. And over time, you lose orientation. For yourself and for others. People don't need you to be easy. They need you to be clear. People who operate at a high level approach this differently. They still care about others, but they don't organize their behavior around approval. They organize it around clarity. They pause. They think. And then they say something simple. I see it differently. That doesn't work for me. Let's think this through. Calm. Direct. Without tension escalation. This is assertiveness psychology in practice. Clear communication without aggression. They allow small moments of friction because they understand something important. Short-term discomfort creates long-term clarity. Here's the difference in one sentence. People-pleasing keeps the moment comfortable. Clarity builds something stable. And people who think long-term choose stability, even if it creates a brief moment of tension, because they understand how systems work. Short-term harmony often leads to long-term confusion. This is not about becoming harsh. It's about becoming clear. You don't need to dominate. You don't need to push. And you don't need to disappear in the situation either. There is a middle ground. Calm, present, clear. That's where respect grows. And that's where high-functioning individuals operate. Next time you feel the impulse to agree immediately, pause. Just for a second. And instead of asking, how do I keep this smooth? Ask, what is actually true for me here? This question changes your focus. It brings you back to your position. And from there, you can respond with clarity. People-pleasing feels good in the moment, but it comes at a cost. Clarity may create friction, but it creates trust. And if you take one thing from this, you don't need to be more agreeable. You need to be more precise. Because real respect is not built on how easy you are to deal with. It's built on how clear you are to understand. If you are someone who wants to build without becoming loud, who wants to stay clear without becoming hard, who values self-respect over approval and clarity over constant agreement, then this channel is for you. Subscribe to Substance, because this is not about pleasing. This is about understanding how people actually work and learning how to stay grounded while others lose direction. This is not about volume. This is about substance,